The world's getting more and more volatile, right? But what does that actually mean for the physical things we use every single day? In this explainer, we're going to look at the biggest global risks, but through the really critical lens of manufacturing to understand how stuff gets made in a world that's just full of uncertainty.
All right, just so you know where we're coming from, this explainer is based on the World Economic Forum's latest global risks report. We're going to zero in on the parts of that report that really matter for the global manufacturing sector. How things are designed, produced, and shipped in this brand new landscape.
The report's outlook is, well, to put it mildly, it's pretty sobering. We're apparently leaving an era of relative cooperation and entering what the forum is calling a new age of competition. Okay, let's dive into this and really break down what that means for the world of making things. Now, this chart, wow, it really paints a picture. Over 1,300 global experts were asked what they thought the next 2 years would look like, and a staggering 50% said either turbulent or stormy. Look at the other end of the scale. Only 1% expect things to be calm. That level of uncertainty, that's the new normal that every factory manager and supply chain strategist has to plan for now. So where is all this turbulence coming from? Well, that brings us to our first major theme, what the report calls the geoeconomic squeeze. This is the point where the global chess game of economics starts having a direct physical impact on factory floors and shipping lanes. The report flags geoeconomic confrontation as the #1 risk over the next couple of years. And listen, this isn't just about simple trade disputes anymore. We're talking about countries deliberately using economic tools as weapons, all to build up their own self-sufficiency and hold back their rivals. And this picture perfectly illustrates where that battle is taking place. The global value chain. That incredibly complex web of suppliers, manufacturers, and distributors that we built for maximum efficiency is now a primary battleground. Every single container on that ship represents a potential point of leverage or a vulnerability. So, how does this confrontation actually work? Well, through tools just like these. Tariffs and sanctions, those are the obvious ones. But it also includes things like investment controls that dictate who can own what, or state subsidies to prop up local industries. And even the outright weaponization of supply chains, where access to one critical component is used as a negotiating chip. For a manufacturer, this means where you get your parts is now a geopolitical decision, not just a business one. This geopolitical risk is made so much worse by the cracks showing up in our physical world. I mean, manufacturing doesn't happen in a vacuum, right? It relies on roads, ports, power grids, and that very foundation is becoming dangerously fragile. This image just says it all, doesn't it? In so many developed countries, the critical infrastructure we all depend on is 50, 60, even 70 years old. It was built for a different era, a different climate, and a totally different scale of demand. These aren't just cosmetic cracks. They are real threats that can stop production and cripple supply chains with absolutely no warning. And the cost of this fragility is just enormous. The report points to an estimate that firms in low and middle-income countries lose at least $300 billion every single year simply because of unreliable transport, electricity, and water. That is a massive, constant drag on manufacturing potential and global growth. And here's the kicker. It's not just about age. The problem is getting hit from all sides. You've got extreme weather, overwhelming systems that were never designed for it. Key choke points, like canals and ports, are becoming targets for physical or cyber attacks. And even when we try to upgrade the infrastructure, we're hampered by intense competition for the critical minerals we need to do it. It's a real perfect storm of risk. Okay, so let's shift from the physical world to the digital one. Technology is so often seen as the solution, right? The driver of the next industrial revolution. But the report makes it crystal clear that the very innovations creating opportunities for manufacturers are also introducing some profound new risks. It's a classic double-edged sword. Just take a look at this quote. The risk of bad outcomes from AI has absolutely skyrocketed in the minds of global experts. It's gone from a distant concern, way down at number 30, to a top 5 long-term risk. That just shows you how rapidly the potential downsides of AI have become a major, major concern. For the manufacturing workforce, AI presents two radically different futures. I mean, on one hand, it could create 170 million new roles, augmenting human skills and sending productivity through the roof. But on the other hand, some are predicting it could wipe out half of all entry-level white-collar jobs. We're talking designers, planners, managers, creating what the report calls a white-collar rust belt. The uncertainty there is just massive.
And just when you thought AI was enough to think about, there's another frontier technology looming: quantum computing. While its potential is unbelievable, it also represents a whole new kind of rivalry that could completely upend industrial competition and security as we know it.
So here's the crucial part. The big deal with quantum computers is that once they're powerful enough, they threaten to break the very encryption that protects our entire digital world. For manufacturing, this is a critical threat. Imagine your most valuable intellectual property, your secret designs, your chemical formulas, your unique processes, suddenly becoming transparent to a rival. That's the risk of what they call Q-Day, the day quantum breaks classical encryption. So, we've looked at confrontational politics, fragile infrastructure, and disruptive technology. With all these interconnected risks, the critical question becomes, how on earth does the manufacturing sector prepare for this new era of competition? How do you build resilience? Okay, let's distill this all down. First, supply chain decisions can't just be about cost anymore. Resilience and security are now just as important. Second, you just can't take reliable infrastructure for granted. You have to treat it as a critical vulnerability in your planning. Third, technology is a two-front race. You have to adopt tools like AI to stay competitive, while at the same time preparing to secure your intellectual property from future threats like quantum computing. And finally, understanding geopolitics, it's no longer optional. It's a core business competency. So we'll leave you with this question to think about. In this new age of global competition, when you look at your own operations, your own suppliers, and your own dependencies, is your supply chain a source of strength, or is it actually your greatest vulnerability?